Doesn't it make you think that when people have suffered from anxiety disorders, they are I think the best types of people to beat themselves up? And I can say this exactly in my own life. There is a underlying sense of almost shame and guilt, sometimes even embarrassment when it comes to admitting and confessing and actually opening up and actually going out and dealing with the issue of what an anxiety disorder is. Many times we see people like this, and honestly, why is this? Why is it that people with a mental health issue like an anxiety disorder beat themselves up so much? I think it is the underlying lie that people think they're not good enough. Byron McDonough, in his Dare anxiety book that I read, and I read it all, and he talked about how to forgive yourself for having anxiety. And there is one major thing that he said, that he pointed out, and it doesn't sound very I don't know, really the most attractive method of sort of helping you with your self-esteem and such, and with anxiety and forgiving yourself. But as we say, there is an underlying sense of not feeling good enough. And so what we say is, whenever we have that thought, we just say we love ourselves. We love ourselves. We forgive ourselves for having anxiety. We also forgive anxiety itself. We forgive ourselves for having anxiety, for having this issue. We forgive ourselves. And also we love ourselves. And also anybody else, because this is truly sort of what forgiveness is. Just a sort of segue onto forgiveness. This is really what forgiveness is. Learning to forgive ourselves for having this issue. It is very strange though, when we think. I mean, it is an overwhelming lie to say that, okay, we're not obviously good enough because we suffer with anxiety. It's not true. It's a simple lie. It is a delusion. It's something that your brain believes because maybe you have been disabled from doing things that other people can do easily. For example, in my life, I've talked about it in other videos, I had my first panic attack when I was 9. I was on my way to my sister's church, and there was a major accident on the dual carriageway. Long story short, we got caught in a big traffic jam, and I don't know what it was, but a 9-year-old me in the back of the car with my mother found myself very overwhelmed and almost like claustrophobic in that sense, and actually had a major panic attack. And from that moment onwards, I found it very, very difficult to get into a car. And that was very difficult because I went to a school that was miles away. And so I had to get into a car every single day. And so I had to push myself. I really did. I had to push myself. So even when my fellow friends and acquaintances were going into the car, just like any normal person does, I found it difficult. I found it overwhelming. I found it to be a big challenge. And so when we look at this, I think maybe that is the reason why people with an anxiety disorder will beat themselves up, will think to themselves, look, I'm not good enough. I can never do what she does. I could never do what he does. But as I said, it is an underlying delusion that you're not good enough. It is a self-esteem issue. And what we do by this is to forgive our anxiety. Liberation through forgiveness. Not only forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves. When we make peace with ourselves, we can finally actually go into this world and be the best versions of ourselves. We can actually, facilitate a good life for ourselves. But the question really hasn't been asked. If someone has an anxiety disorder, why do they have these issues? Why are they so hard on ourselves? Why are we so hard on ourselves when we suffer with anxiety? It is the underlying factor that we think we're not good enough, when that's not true. Learn to forgive yourself, learn to forgive others, but also learn to forgive anxiety. It wasn't your fault that you fell into an anxiety disorder. You may have had a strange sensation come upon your way, and some people might not have feared it, just because that's just, you know, that's just the way they responded. But you yourself, being a completely normal person, found that sensation to be quite distressing, which it is, and you responded to it with fear. It's a fear of fear. It's like pouring gasoline onto a fire. And as you responded to fear with fear, that panic attack came and you fell into the trap. You fell into the anxiety cycle. And the way we transform anxiety, we learn to embrace it. We learn to fully accept it for what it is. It's very, very difficult. And my next video, guys, will probably be on about when we feel anxiety rise up, what do we do in that moment? In that moment, it's all good to talk about, the right information, how to respond, this, that. But when we are in that moment, of almost almost an underlying feeling of danger, what do we do? We learn to respond to it with non-resistance. Don't try to accept it. Don't try and transform it. Don't try and do anything. Just learn to let it be there. But once you have the right information, you can learn to trust your body again. What an incredible revelation it is that ultimately our issue with anxiety was predicated upon the fact that you are not okay. You are not ready to learn to be comfortable in your anxious discomfort. And as I say, guys, in other videos, is because this is an amazing thing, because life in itself is stressful. It's difficult, it's challenging, and there will be different things in our path that will stress us out. And so if we try and avoid stress, if we try and avoid anxiety, that is fruitless, futile, and a waste of time, and ultimately does not reflect the true nature of what life is like. So when we learn to accept, transform, when we learn to move with the waves of anxious sensations, we can learn to move out of it. So guys, with that being said, I am in the Ardgarten Hotel in Scotland. If you couldn't tell, I'm in Scotland. God is good. What a beautiful scenery. It's nothing like Pontypridd in Merthyr, I tell you what. It's much bigger. So guys, with that being said, God bless you all. I'll see you guys in my next video, and watch out for more videos regarding this topic. I feel very passionately, given my experience, given how my life truly depended on this information. It really did. So guys, if you found this information, this video, helpful in any way, please give it a comment and a like and a share, and also most importantly a subscribe, so we push this video out to more people. I'm trying to share this information out. This information saved my life. I don't know, for people who have fell into the trap of anxiety, needed to. So guys, God bless. I'll see you guys in my next video.